Welcome to Rachel Scale Modelling. This is part 4 of AMT Star Trek USS Enterprise NCC 1701E. Scale is 1 to 1400. In part 4, I'm most likely going to be working on the hull and the pylon section of the build, prepping for the later stages. So a lot of the work so far is just prep work, which leaves. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. Carrying on where I left of part 3, so I'm just finishing up moving the material for the cables to fit through. Next is this part here. Now there's a little bit to be removed here as well. So as you can see, I've already made the markings where I want this to go. You can see the inner part which I was currently building, and I've just got to take a little bit off the lip here. So once I've made a few passes with my snips, I shall remove these little bits of slither of plastic with my knife, and as I said, it's just enough to get a bit of cable through. And once that's done, I'll just check it to fit, make sure that I'm happy with the alignment, and I'll just use a bit of plastic card just to make sure everything looks okay and fairly level. And that's where the main power cord is going to come out of the saucer section. Using this plastic card is a support beam for the lights, but I'll get on to that later on, possibly in the next video. So now, again, I'm just marrying everything up to make sure that it's all in alignment, and I've got a good size hole for the actual cables to come through. At this stage as well now, I just have to think about how the cable is going to go into the main hull. So I'm just dry fitting the main hull there, slightly off camera there, but it's nothing's going on. These two prongs will fit into there, but I'll be taking these off because they're just going to interfere with what I want to do. And the reason why I'm taking them off is because I'm going to be removing quite a lot of plastic here, because the top part I've just placed on, there's actually windows that have to be drilled out on this part. So first of all, I'm just marking up the area that I want to be removed on the main hull. As I said, it's quite a big section I will be removing, making careful note where the borders are going to be for when the top part goes on. I'm also having to open up a little bit of the plastic here to receive the cables as well. It's just a little corresponding to the ones I made on the upper part of the saucer section. So I'll start drilling the holes for this little part for the hull. There's various, there's many windows that you can drill. I would recommend not doing the whole lot, because it would just look like a lantern when it's lit up, and it just wouldn't look balanced as well. Bear in mind, not all these rooms would be occupied if the ship was real. So just randomly select certain areas that you want the lights to come through and what windows you want to come through, obviously. I'm giving the piece a top coat of River Colour 76 light grey. This is mostly to see how the colour is going to start balancing out. The ship colour itself is all various greys, so I'm just trying to decide what tone the greys will be. But I do like this colour, so I'm painting in some of the border work as I go along. The darker areas, I'm going to be using Rebel Aquacolor 43 medium grey for this. Again, though, I may change it as I go along with the build and see how it all balances out. So next it's time to remove this plastic from the hull, and I'm going to use my Dremel here with the cotton tool just to get rid of all the excess on it. It's a little bit awkward doing it at this angle, but it should be alright. Just gently remove the material. Just bear in mind this Dremel or anyone else's could effectively melt the plastic, so you don't want to go too far in. Once you've removed most of the excess, then you can just nibble it as you go along, so that you're not going to be taking too much off, and if things go wrong, you know you've still going to have a bit to play around with. And once the main mass is removed, I'm just taking my knife and tidying up all the little burrs. And of course, you can do this with sandpaper as well, but a knife is just as quick. And then it's the all-important dry fit test to make sure that the unit's got enough plastic left to weld onto. You want to take note also where your windows are. So if you've got too much plastic on the overhang, that means your windows won't have any light coming through. So you may want to mark up the plastic a little bit more and see if any more material can be moved. But again, like I said, do this in very small stages so that you know that you're not removing too much. And now I know that I've got a couple more mil to go. I put on the sandbelt tool on the Dremel, and then I'm just going to take it down to my original markings. Now that's one side done, it's time to do the next side, and I've done that the exact same way, and as you can see there, that's all the material being removed, and I'm just dry fitting out to test to see how well everything looks. And after putting up to my window, I can see a bit of light coming through, so everything's alright. So next my attention is going to the pylons, and this is much the same with the removal of the plastic in the other one, with some slight differences. I have to make a trench going up this pylon here. So I've assembled the part and dry fed it, and I'm just marking on the plastic where I would like my cables to go. So now that I know how the part's going to interact with each section, and I've made my markings accordingly, I'll just draw a line up to the other side, and that will give me a vague sort of track area that I need to remove excess plastic on to get my wiring. Also, the inner part of the pylon housing, some of that's going to have to become taken off to receive the wires as well. So as you can see that I'm doing the same on the opposite side, of the inside, I should say, of the pylon. So that's both sides are going to get a trench marked into them. And to do this, I'm using my Dremel once more, but I've got the grinding stone tool on this, and I'm just laying it down over my markings and creating a trench within that area. Now it's important that you don't press too hard, you press lightly. It will take 1 or 2 passes. One, you don't want to burn the plastic, and 2, also you do not want to go all the way through. We are talking about tiny amounts of plastic having to be removed to receive the wire. So if you are going to do it this way, be very careful, because you can quite easily go through all the way through to the other side. So after 1 or 2 passes, you can start seeing the trench. I'm just checking each time I make a pass over that I'm not going to be going anywhere near that on the actual visible side. You can tell by the feel and thickness of it as well, of course. And then once that's done, I'm just cutting away the excess material on the root of the pylon to receive the wires. This has got to be done as well, because you wouldn't be able to close up everything up if the wires are just coming out of your trench then onto the root. It needs to be removed so that the wire can poke through it. And lastly, for this part 4, I'm just taking the cotton disc tool once more and removing the plastic in the actual housing for the wing root. And this again just enables for the cable to come through. And I'll always, once the bulk of the material is moved, just taking my knife and cleaning up the areas so everything is nice and smooth. And of course, always dry fit as you're going along, just to make sure everything is going to fit and your holes are where they need to be. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other videos? I'm sure there's something there by now that you may enjoy watching. If you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build, but all my other builds as well, of course. Hit that like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the channel. But all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next part of this build. Bye bye for now.